This is Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, an in-depth interview with Alabama's top political newsmakers. Now, from the studios of Troy University, here is Steve Flowers.
I'm Steve Flowers, and welcome to Alabama Politics. Folks, we're very fortunate tonight to have as our guest a veteran state senator and one of the best ones, one of the most honest and straightforward people I've known in the state senate for years, and I've seen a lot of them. Senator Clyde Chambliss from Prattville. Clyde, good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Steve. It's always a pleasure.
Senator, I should call you Senator.
You can call me anything you want, just don't call me late for supper.
I've heard that saying. You know, we've had you on the show numerous times. We just got through having Joe Lovin from Auburn, Rouge chairman of the House, but first of all, I want to appreciate you taking time because you're in the middle of the session. And you're a very important state senator and you got a lot on your plate, but appreciate you doing this. But you know, I was talking to him about this. You know, Clyde, you really are lucky to be from Prattville and serve in the Senate. I told Barfoot and Hatcher the same thing. Yeah. I mean, that's a real luxury to be able to be right here in your hometown, sleep in your own bed, and drive 15 minutes to the State House and serving. That's much better than being from Huntsville and Mobile.
It is. I'm very fortunate in that regard and get to sleep in my own bed, as you say. And you know, when I sleep on the road, I don't sleep very well. Especially that first night. The second night, I'm so tired.
When do you get my age? Because you forget to pack your pills and everything like that. It's like moving. I think I don't want to go anywhere because of that. You know, when you get my age, start taking pills and wearing different things, and you get cold in a hurry. So
home sweet home.
I don't even like to travel anymore. But I know our viewers. I ask you this every time, but I want to remind them where all you have. You live in Prattville, and actually you were born and raised in Talbot County, wasn't you?
That's correct. I'm a sixth generation Prattville.
That's right. Tell our viewers about that.
Been there for a long, long time. My earliest ancestor got there in the early 1830s.
Before the stuff, 1830.
Yeah, before Prattville was Prattville. There was no Prattville at that time.
So your folks have been in Talbot County since 1830.
That's right.
Did they come from the Carolinas?
They did. Virginia,
everybody
Carolina,
settled
Georgia up that way. Yes, sir. Yes,
Came
sir.
here to 18. So you're the sixth generation of Chambliss in Talbot County.
Yeah.
I bet it helped you when you first ran.
It helped a lot. It helped a lot.
Now, were you on the county commission, or your daddy or uncle was?
Well, my great uncle was for 7 terms. 7 terms. And then I was for 3 terms.
What area did you have of Watauga? The city of Prattville?
The Prattville area.
City of Prattville. Now, you an engineer by profession.
Yes, sir. Civil engineer.
You're the only engineer in the Senate.
Yes, sir.
They comment about that. You know, Kay Ivy called you out there in the State of the State dress. I got looking over there at you. She says, and everybody can't be smart like Clyde Chambliss to be an engineer. Everybody assumes engineers are real smart, you know.
Well, she said I had an engineering brain.
Is that what she said?
So that could be taken different ways, you know. But I appreciated that. That was really nice of her to do that.
You know, Kay's done a good job as governor.
She is not afraid to tackle the hard problems.
She had,
man. For sure.
And you know, y'all, it seems like yesterday, but you think about this, Senator. You know, y'all tackle that road thing, and it was an acute problem. And she really, really worked that thing.
She did.
She worked that thing. And you were one of the first ones to come on board and help her. I think she always appreciated that. You may have been sponsor part of it.
I was a Senate sponsor.
You were the Senate sponsor of the whole bill then?
Yes, sir. Well,
now Pooh was in the House.
Bill Pooh was in the House, and we worked, and he was the quarterback. I was the backup quarterback, and he had been working on some things before I was elected and involved, but anyway, it was great to work with him. What a class guy he is. And
he really is.
We just worked through some things, and he was going to do the main part of the bill in the House first, and I was going to do the accountability portion in the Senate first. And as I told him ahead of time, you might have to do this bill first in the House, and that's the way it ended up. House Bill 1 in 2019 was the accountability portion, and House Bill 2 was the actual Rebuild Alabama bill.
Senator, what year was that the case? First year in office? What year would that be? 17 or no 20? What year was her first? 19. Was it 19?
That was the year that we passed it, but I think she'd come in a couple years ahead of that.
But 19, her first time she was elected.
Exactly.
And that would have been 19, wouldn't it?
I believe that's right.
So that was a big thing in 19.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's been as big a legislation since 19. Since that Rebuild Alabama.
Well, it was a tough bill, tough ask, especially for new legislators. But looking long term for the health of our state, the economic health, transportation health, there was no question in my mind it was the right thing to do. And in fact, I heard her say on occasions when some folks were trying to get a little something out of it, and she'd say, "Senator, I need you to vote for it because it's the right thing to do." And she would leave it there, and that's what happened.
But now she probably, or the power in the Senate probably wanted you to handle it because you're the only engineer. Because you would know something about roads.
Well, I would think that would be helpful. Of course, Bill got it through the House, and everything was
He was chairman
of
Ways and Means in the House, too.
Well, he was the chairman of the Education Trust Fund.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, he got it through the House, and I'm like, oh no, the only thing I can do is mess this up. So we worked really hard, studied hard, and you know what? Kudos to Bill. When he got the bill out of the House, he had a notebook for me that had all of his stuff in it, and it would. So I didn't have to go reinvent all this.
Isn't that something? That's how organized he is.
Very organized, and of course I studied all that from cover to cover because I knew all the hard work he put into it, and the governor put into it. The governor's equity. I didn't want to mess that up.
Joe Bonner was real helpful too.
He was.
Having him on board was really helpful.
He's very, very sharp.
Very sharp. Just a good guy. Everybody likes Joe Bonner.
Yeah.
But he can be tough too.
No doubt.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
You got to be tough in a nice way. Going back to that though, you have gotten some things out of that. Your pet peeve is paving that Tuscaloosa to Prattville road.
Yeah.
How far has that come along? I hadn't been up there.
Well, I drove through there just a little while ago today, and they've got 2 lanes on both sides from Highway 31 to Highway 14. But they're finishing. They've got still a lot of barrels out there, but they're doing the median work right now. So I'm guessing in another 3 or 4 weeks they'll be finished completely.
You mean it's going to be 4-lane all the way from? You've got it all the way done, Prattville to Tuscaloosa?
No, I wish. But from Highway 31 to Highway 14, that was a $25 million stretch. Because it had
go to Centerville all the way forward?
No, there's still a big stretch between Prattville and Centerville, and we're going to work on that next.
I drove that road many a time when I was going to college. I bet you've heard that a million times, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
We'd always stop at Twix and Tween
in
Centerville
and
get us a barbecue sandwich.
Yeah, I did as well. Jim's Barbecue there in North Watauga County.
So you went to Alabama from Prattville.
I did.
That wasn't that bad a drive, really, was it?
It was about 1 hour and 45 then. Now with the bypass in Centerville, it's about 1.5 hours.
Now, if I'm not right, your wife is also an engineer and your children engineer.
That's correct. My wife is an Auburn graduate, and she's a civil engineer as well. We both
Did y'all meet after college or something?
After college, yes. She worked at the DOT, and I worked for the county.
Where was she from originally?
Originally, her dad's side is from the Beauregard, the Auburn area.
So she's from over there.
And her mom was from the Reeltown area.
Over that same area, and so she went to Auburn, and then.
Matter of fact, that's where Joe Lovern's from. That was just here.
Is he from there?
He's from that area.
Yeah. Boy, Auburn's really grown.
It has.
Prattville has too, though.
It has.
Is Prattville still growing a lot?
It's kind of slowed down.
I thought, yeah, but now, how big is Prattville? What's the population?
Close to 40,000. So it's a nice sized city, and it's got a lot of history there. And you may know this, but when Daniel Pratt came in the late 1830s, he just mapped the whole town out, planned it, and a lot of it today is what he planned, especially with the churches. He planned all those churches. He planted the seeds for all of them, organized them. They're still there. The schools, he was, although he was not educated, he put a high priority on education and for the future. And that is not quite as evident today because schools have changed over time and new schools have been built and that kind of thing. But he was a real visionary that started Prattville.
You know, I don't want to take up all your time with history, but tell our viewers, because the average viewer may not realize the importance of Daniel Pratt to that, because he was Prattville. And that Pratt gin was one of the biggest industries, but he was from New England or somewhere.
That's right, New England.
Tell his history a little bit. And also, they made his gin a really upscale apartment thing. Has that been real successful too?
Oh, it has. It has. It's gone really well. Interesting, I found this out since I last spoke with you, but Daniel Pratt, he came to Prattville, and I didn't know this, but as they're going through a lot of the artifacts, they found a contract between some of my forefathers and the Pratt family, and my forefathers supplied the lumber for those buildings.
I love that.
That was really neat find for me, and knowing I didn't know that.
And it was a Chambliss relative named Chambliss.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, he is actually not only important to Prattville, not only important to the state because he brought industry to the state, but to the southeast and even the world. Most people don't know, but even back then, in the late 1800s, he had a big, huge warehouse in New Orleans where he would ship these cotton gins down to New Orleans, and then they would ship them out all over the world, from Prattville to New Orleans to the world.
Because all the farmers in Autauga and surrounding counties grew cotton.
Oh, yeah.
And brought them into his gin.
Big cotton.
What year did he come? He came from New England somewhere.
He came, I believe it was 1838, if I'm not mistaken.
How did he decide to come to South? For the cotton, to be a cotton merchant, gin man?
Well, I don't know if I know all the history of it, but he was not necessarily a cotton ginner. He was the manufacturer of the cotton gin. So it was very technical, very mechanical, and he came down the East Coast and eventually over to Prattville. Was in Elmore County for a short period, in Washington Hill, south of Prattville for a while, and then Prattville was where he ended up. But he built the whole town, and there was door and window sash companies, everything that was there.
He built Prattville.
He built it, and
your ancestors helped him do though.
Well, we provided some of the lumber anyway.
That's great. 6 generations of Chambliss in Autauga. So y'all there before he was there.
We were.
When did Pratt come to Prattville?
I believe it's about 6 to 8 years after.
So he came before the Civil War though. Around at that time.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder why the Yankees didn't burn down that thing. They didn't get to Prattville, did they? To burn down his gin?
I think Tuscaloosa was probably the closest
they got.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was on that.
Maybe Dallas County and Selma.
I don't know if they got Dallas. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
But I wonder if that was on their radar to come, because that was the heart of probably of an industry. It's cotton.
It was. It really.
You know, they may have had Prattville. Sherman may have had Prattville on his list.
He may have.
Some of your ancestors may have got wiped out. You might not have been here.
We've probably been up there defending it, making sure that.
Did some of your ancestors go off to the Civil War?
They did.
Mine did too. Yeah. You know who's kin to me is Will Barfoot.
Is that right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my mama's people were from North Pike County, which borders Montgomery, at a place called China Grove and Orion. And if you look at a map, Pike Road, they're right there together. Yeah. So over the holidays, Barfoot, we always knew we were cousins, related, but because I knew there was some Barfoots in my mama's family, and he had got interested in researching it. He sent me exactly, and he showed me a chart, and we found a 4 generation back, we had the same grandmama.
Well, interestingly enough, Barfoot and I have had the same conversation.
Did he do it over the holidays with you?
We're 6th cousins, so a little bit more distance.
I think I'm closer than that to Barfoot, because he showed me where there was some Nancy somebody who was, she says, and that reason it reminded me, I got tickled. I told him a story of my ancestor who was married to that woman, who was me and Barfoot's same identical grandmama, 4 generations. Nancy something who grew up in South Montgomery County, and it reminded me of my ancestor who was her husband. and his name was something Grant. All my mama who were Grants, and his history of the Civil War was that the Montgomery Cavalry came into China Grove, and he got me and my father-in-law Isaac Broxton, and we went off to the war together because we had our own horses. We joined the Montgomery Cavalry. We went and fought in this war, battle in Chickamauga in Tennessee, and this one in Tennessee. And said the Yankees captured me and took me to the prison in Mississippi. And then the war got over, and I came home. That was the whole narrative.
The war got over and came home.
It's like they didn't shoot anybody. I mean, you kind of want to know, have you ever seen any of your ancestors write anything about you? Their service in the Civil War?
Not that I know of.
I share that. But so you and I both are kin to Barfoot. Does he call you cousin?
We need to start.
He calls me cousin.
We need to start doing that. But I tell you what, I love having Barfoot Senator Barfoot in the Senate with us. We get along great. We share Elmore County.
That's right. He got Elmore. Y'all split that.
We split Elmore County, so we work just really well together. He's a great guy.
He is. Y'all are a good team. Y'all two of my favorites. But back to the session. Let's talk about some of the issues in the session. Y'all hit the road running. You hit the crime thing.
We have.
You know. Montgomery and Birmingham have had such a violent crime thing the last 5 or 10 years. It's bad for the whole state.
It really is, especially here in the capital city, but both cities. You know, we need to get a handle on crime, and a lot of the things that we're doing this session are dealing with either crime or families and trying to make families stronger and protection of families. One of the bills that I'm carrying deals with the app store. And if you think about it, you go to the convenience store and there's certain laws and rules and regulations about what they can sell at what age and that kind of thing. And right now you go on the app store and they're not held to the same standard that a local store is. So kids are able to get on and get things that they shouldn't be exposed to. So we're trying to pass this bill to make sure that the app stores have to take care of the same laws as the regular stores.
So you think of that yourself, or has some other states been doing the same
No,
thing?
some other states have been doing it. We were working on a different way of doing it with a filter bill and that kind of stuff, but this came along and this is actually a better way to do it. So it's about protecting families, but protecting kids. And there are stories, and just really, really bad stories of kids who have come across things unsuspectingly, weren't looking for it, and it's just ruined the lives, their lives, family lives, and we need to prevent that.
What, are they buying drugs online, or what are they doing?
Well, a lot of it's dealing with pornography.
Okay.
And there's drug issues and that kind of stuff, but the focus of this is really pornography and making sure it's just age appropriate. You know, when you get to be a certain age, you do.
How can you police that by computer? Just tell apps they can't put certain things on there, make it easy.
Yeah, they pretty much know the ages of folks by what they do and that kind of thing. And if they're below a certain age, then they would have to get parental. They can still do it. They just have to get parental permission to do it.
Well, Senator, what about the other crime bills you think are going to help reduce some of this violence in the cities? The Glock thing. Talk about the Glock thing and giving the policemen more liability coverage.
That's
Talk
right.
about black to blue.
The Glock switch. That's from what I understand, and I've never shot a pistol with a switch on it, but from what I understand is it takes a semi-automatic pistol and makes it fully automatic. And everybody that I've talked to, you just can't control it. Once you pull the trigger, it goes all over the place, and it's already illegal by federal law.
Yeah.
But a state officer can't make a federal charge, so if it's against state law, then that would mirror the federal law. So
I think Barfoot's handling because he's chairman judiciary.
Yeah. He's at the forefront of all those bills, and you know, it's important for the entire river region. I mean, it really is. As goes Montgomery, so goes the entire river region, and so we want to do our part to try to help and make sure that people can live peaceable lives.
Let me ask you this. Montgomery got a little bit ahead of it more than Birmingham by having this task force. What's that all about? I mean, and that's part of Governor Ivey's program, isn't it?
That's right.
To make it law that if they get a certain threshold, that the state comes in. And how does that work? I know Aaliyah's involved.
That's right.
How does that thing go? I think Montgomery is acquiescing to try to work with that. Are they not?
I think so, and from all indications, when you put all of these forces together, from the Attorney General's office, State Bureau of Investigation, all the way down to just your local police officer and everybody in between, and they're all sharing information. And matter of fact, I toured some areas today that they're helping me understand how all this is working together, from the state all the way down, and even at the federal level. Whenever they're able to work together like that and share that information and all pull in the same direction, just like any other thing, like the legislature, if we pull in the same direction, they can get so much more accomplished. And from all indications, the task force that they put out there has made a big difference. A long way to go. It hasn't solved everything, but it is a good start, and we got to focus on it, because people need to be able to live their life and lay down at night and not have to worry about that.
You really are. Let me ask you this, and I hate to be so ignorant. The new prison's in your district, isn't it?
Yes,
It's going to be the Elmore. Talk about that prison, the funding of it, how it's going to be, how many people are employed there and all.
Right.
It's going to be the main major prison in the state, the newest, most modern prison.
It is.
Talk about, because you probably helped spearhead that, didn't you?
I did.
It's going to be in your district.
That was a long multi-year effort. It's a 4,000 bed prison, but to help people understand, it's really not a big building with 4,000 inmates in it. And that's kind of what most people have in their mind. That's what I had in my mind to begin with. It's actually a prison, a mental health hospital, a regular hospital, and a community college, all inside this same area. There'll be a total of 54 buildings in this campus.
Oh.
It's a small city.
This is sort of a modern way of enforcement, isn't it?
It is, and we'll have three major areas, from maximum security, medium and minor, or lower security. And the main thing that we're doing right now is our prisons are like 80% dormitory, like big room, like a gymnasium, and there'll be 300 or 400 men in there. Well, when something happens, you can't control that. So what we're doing is we're flipping that so that it's 80% cells and 20% dormitory. So being able to get out and go into the dormitory is a privilege. And if you can't act right and you want to fight or you want to do whatever, well, then you have to stay in your cell. Right now, we can't do that. We don't have enough cells. Obviously, for those that are the worst, we have to use the 20% that we have. But it will really flip the script and allow our correction officers to have a lot more control of the situation. And because you have all of these multiple buildings, you can have a real problem in one, and the other 3,900 prisoners don't even know there's a problem. Right now, that's not the case. It's a game changer for our state.
So we really did some research to end this thing. This is going to be the most modern, state of the art. What states are doing it like this now? Do you know? Did you?
There were 2 or 3 others. It's been about 4 years since we did all that research, so I can't name them off the top of my head right now. But we looked at what they were doing, and we took the best from all of them, and really. It's going to change our state. It's going to be a lot better for our state. It's going to be, and I represent a lot of those correction officers that work in the prison.
Right.
We need them there. We need them to feel like they can go to work every day and return home every night and not be in danger. So that's important, and we have a real problem recruiting officers now. We've raised the pay and done a lot of signing bonuses and that kind of thing, but once this prison comes online, it will not be the solution to all of our problems, but it'll be the foundation of the solution to our problems.
You know, our community college system has taken such a big role in the state, from the new workforce development,
Absolutely.
and also they've got a program they've been able to work with Jeff State and Reed and Evergreen on that trains officers and gives them scholarships. And I've had John Hamm and David Waters from the community colleges on this show talking about that.
Well, in Ingram State Technical College, which is part of the community college system, is in.
They're going to be in there.
They're in our major prisons now, and Chancellor Baker and the board, they actually have consolidated all of that all under Ingram State now. It used to be different community colleges all over, and it's just different when you're inside prison.
Well, Deatsville, what county is Deatsville in?
It's in Elmore.
Okay, so it's in your district.
It's right on the line, the line of Elmore.
Yeah, Deatsville is where the main Ingram campus is.
That's right.
So that makes sense that they've got the main thing right there where the prison is.
And you've seen our Senate floor. Ingram State.
Exactly.
They built all of that out of hickory. It's just really, really nice.
Speaking of that, we only got about a minute left. You've lost your good friend Jimmy Holly.
Oh yeah.
You and Barfoot and everybody would fight to sit by him.
Yes.
To learn the rules.
Well, fortunately, I was there 4 years before Barfoot,
so I
got a good 4 years, and I learned so much from Jimmy Holly. He was such a fixture in the Senate and in the state, and he did so many good things for our state. I hated that he passed on, but you know, that's we all look to that day, and we got to be prepared for it.
He was a good man. I got to sit by him for 16 years in the House.
Yeah.
He read every bill.
Yeah.
He read every bill.
Well, I know when I was young there, he would test me, and I read the bills too, and he would test me on them.
Very good. Well, you had an honor to sit by him. Well, Senator, our time's up. I appreciate you taking time right in the middle of the session to come be on the show. You're a very important part of the Senate, being the only engineer there and having the main prison in your district and everything. You probably got the biggest number of state employees, any senator now, don't you?
Barfoot and I are probably about the same.
Yeah. Folks, our guest tonight has been State Senator Clyde Chambliss from Watauga County.
Don't insult him.
Watauga County. He's in his third 4-year term, 10th year in the state Senate. Clyde Chambliss from Prattville, he does a great job for everybody in that area, and we thank him for taking time out of his schedule in the middle of the session, and we thank you viewers for watching. Hope you're tuning in next week for Alabama Politics.
This has been Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, a production of Troy University Television. Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Troy University, its administration, faculty, staff, or students.